Hello and welcome to this Design Cuts video tutorial. Today we're going to look at creating animated GIFs in Photoshop. We're going to start with a photographic sequence and then we'll have a look at a couple of other examples that have a little bit more complexity to them. But we're going to start with this photo sequence. Now, instead of just opening the images in Photoshop, we're going to use a script. So we'll choose File and then Scripts, and we'll use Load Files into Stack. This is a script that's shipped with Photoshop, and what it does is allows you to load a series of images. Every one of those images will be a layer in a single Photoshop file. So first thing is I'll browse to get my images. I have 17 images and they've all been named 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. in order. That's going to make things a lot easier for me because it's going to be very apparent where each image goes. And because they're numbered, they're going to be imported into Photoshop in order. The images have also been edited and they've been sized. So every one of these images is 600 pixels across. Animated GIFs are designed for viewing on a screen. They're not designed for print, so they don't need to be big files. In actual fact, they need to be quite small files because they need to be downloaded by the user. So I've created quite small files and I'll click OK. You can see that the images are going to be imported into Photoshop in a sequence. I have an option for attempting to automatically align the source images. You would use that if it's important to you that the images are aligned properly. In this case, I shot this sequence not on a tripod and deliberately moving the camera slightly between each shot so that I would get some additional movement. I don't want to destroy that movement, so I'm not going to attempt to automatically align source images. But if you want no movement, you'll want to be shooting on a tripod, and you may want to select this option if you think there's any chance that your images might have moved as you shot them. I'll click OK. The images are imported into this Photoshop file, and image number 1 is at the top and image number 17 is at the bottom. That's exactly the way I didn't want them around, but it's easy enough to reverse them later on. What is important is that they're in the correct order. That's certainly going to save me a lot of time in a minute. I'm going to create my animation by choosing Window and then Timeline. Now there are two options in this dialog here, Create Frame Animation, and you also have Create Video Timeline. If Create Video Timeline is showing up here, you'll click the down pointing arrow, choose Create Frame Animation, and then you need to click Create Frame Animation. This is an unusual behavior in Photoshop. The dialogs don't usually work this way, so that can be confusing. When you create your frame animation, the first image layer is added as the frame, but we want all of our images to be individual frames in this animation. So from the flyout menu, we'll choose Make Frames from Layers. And now all 17 images are brought in, each one as a frame in our animation. But of course, we've already discussed this, they're in the wrong order. From the flyout menu here, I can choose Reverse Frames, and that just puts them in the correct order. We need to set a timing for our animation, and we can do that with all the images at once by clicking on the first, shift-clicking on the last, and then just select the drop-down list here for any of the images, because this is going to set the timing for all of them. You can have no delay at all, so they're going to move very, very fast, or you can set your desired delay. Now I know for this sequence that 0.2 is too slow, 0.5 is probably a bit too much, so I'm going to select Other, and I'm going to set it to 0.3. So that's going to run at around 3 and a bit frames per second. But what I want to do is when I get to the last one and before I sequence back to the first one, I want this one to stay on the screen a little bit longer. So I'm going to change it to 0.5 of a second. We can test our animation at this point by clicking on the first frame and click the play button. And this is playing really well, so I'm quite happy with that. At this stage, I can choose how often I want it to be played. It can play once and then stop. That's generally not what you want because it might take some time for the browser to load it, so you'll probably want it to play at least a few times. You can select 3 forever, or you can set the number by clicking Other. Well, I'm going to set mine to play 5 times, and I'll click OK. At this point, we're ready to save this as an animated sequence, but the first thing that you should do is save this as a PSD file. So you'll go File, Save, and then you'll save it as a layered PSD file. So if it needs any alteration, you don't have to come back and recreate it. You can actually open the original PSD file, make your changes, and just re-export it as an animated GIF. To save it as an animated GIF, you'll choose File and then Export Save for Web Legacy. If you're working with an earlier version of Photoshop, you might find that Save for Web is not legacy. It's actually an option on the menu here. It's not tucked away inside Export. Where it is really going to depend on what version of Photoshop you're using. So you just want to look for Save for Web. Now in the Save for Web options here, you're going to want to select GIF as the save file format. You get a number of options for reducing the colors in the image. The reason for this is that GIF images can only have 256 colors in them. That's way less colors than you could have in a typical photograph. So Photoshop has to do some work in reducing the number of colors in the image. And there are 4 options: perceptual, selective, adaptive, and restrictive. Restrictive we're going to write off for this image straight away because this is web safe colors. It's way too small a color palette for this particular image. With perceptual, Photoshop's going to make some choices about colors that the human eye is sensitive to, such as green. So there'll be a preponderance of greens, for example, in the color palette for this particular color reduction method. In selective, the colors are going to be reduced having regard to the colors in the image. So this image has a preponderance of blue, so the color palette is going to tend towards blue because there are more of blue colors in the image. Adaptive is going to choose colors that best match the colors that are actually in use in the image. Now, which of these is going to be better for you really depends. You'll probably want to save your animated GIF as 2 or 3 of these formats: adaptive, perceptual, and selective, and just see which one works best for you. Now for the colors that don't appear in the color table here, you can make those colors if you use a dithering method. So no dither is going to insist that Photoshop sticks with just the colors from the palette here. If you choose a dithering method and diffusion is the one that you would typically choose, then Photoshop's going to make up missing colors by mixing these colors. So what it's going to do to create a color purple, for example, is to have a lot of pixels close to each other that are maybe red and blue, because the eye is going to read red and blue pixels as purple. So Photoshop's going to be able to make up some different colors or missing colors by just placing a profusion of other colored pixels in that area. Now we don't want transparency in this image, so if we deselect transparency, we get 1 extra color. We don't have to worry about matte because there's no area of transparency in our image. We will want to convert it to sRGB because it's going to be displayed on a monitor. It's not a color managed space. sRGB is the preferred color space. So we'll just click Save. I'll type a name for it and click Save. To watch our animation play, I'm going to open up a browser window and I'll open up the folder in which I've saved my GIF image, and I'll just drag and drop it into a browser window and it's going to play. It'll play 5 times and you'll notice that the last frame stays on the screen just a bit longer than the others. So that's the basics of creating an animated GIF in Photoshop. So now let's have a look at a couple of examples that require a little bit of work on the timeline. I'm going to open up the first of the images that I have prepared. So I'm going to choose this one here. In this sequence, I've already pre-prepared a transformation of a shape, and it goes from a circle all the way through to a heart. And I've just used shapes here inside Photoshop. And the first shape has been added here to the timeline. I'm going to do the same thing as I did previously, and I'm going to make frames from layers. Now you can see here that something has happened that was not quite expected. We've got a white filled layer, and then each of these images doesn't have any background behind it at all. So first thing I'm going to do is trash this white layer, first of all, the frame for it. I'm going to focus on this first element in the sequence, which is this shape here. And you can see that as I select on each of these in turn, that we're actually seeing the image layer that corresponds with this shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just turn on the background for that image. So that's what I want that frame to look like. Let's go to this frame. So for this frame, I want that layer and this one. And then I'll go to this frame and I'll show this layer and the background. So you can see that if I want a background behind all of my shapes, I'm going to need to make sure that it's added to this frame sequence. Now, if we didn't want the background, let's go back and make these without the background. Then we can take this transparency into the animated GIF. With an animated GIF, you can only have full transparency. You can't have partial transparency. It has to be either transparent or opaque. So if you do want transparency, then you'll want every single frame in your animated GIF to be transparent. In this instance, well, let's just set a timing up for this one. And how many times it's going to play? 3 times. Let's go and export it out. In this instance, we do want transparency turned on because otherwise we're going to lose that transparent area behind each of the frames in our sequence. We're also going to consider the matte because the matte is the matte color. So what color are we going to put this image on? So if it's going onto a black web page, we would choose black as our matte color. And when we do so, look at what happens to the color table. Well, the color table takes on a whole lot of dark colors because Photoshop is building up the edge pixels around every one of these shapes using a dark series of colors. So when it's placed on black, you're not going to see white pixels in the area surrounding the shape. But if you're placing it on a white page background, then you'll want to choose white, and you can see that the color table has all these lighter and white pixels. So you just want to be aware of that if you're building a animated GIF that is to be transparent. The other example I wanted to show you, we're just going to open the image for it. In this case, I want to create an animation from a single image, but I want to animate something within this image. So what I'm going to do is drag the image onto the new icon here so I can do something different with this image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the sequence. So I'm going to the spot healing brush tool. Here's the quickest and easiest tool to use to remove the sequence, and I'm just going to remove them from this image. Let's go and do the same thing over, and let's remove the sequence from a different area of the image. So in this way, we're able to create a sequence, an animated sequence from just a single image because we're going to make things happen within that image. I'm going to remove these sequence. So now I have 4 images in my file. I'm just going to unlock the background layer because I want all of these to be a frame in my animation. So I'm going to click Create Frame Animation. I'm going to click here and choose Make Frames from Layers. Let's test and see how it looks, but first of all, we'll just increase the timing on it. Well, we'll do ½ a second. So what's going to happen with this is it's just going to play through from sequence through to no sequence. If we wanted to extend that and roll it around, if you like, what we're going to do is take these 2 middle frames, anything between the 2 ends, and we're going to duplicate them. So I'll select them and I'll click here on New, and that duplicates them. So I'm just going to move them into position. So let's see what this looks like. Sequence, and I'm going to click to move forward. One lot of sequences gone, second lot's gone, third lot's gone. These come back, and then they go away again. So these 2 frames need to be reversed. Let's just check that. We're back to no sequence, and now we should start having some sequence. One set, the next set, and then the next thing in our frame animation, because we're going to go from 6 and loop all the way back around to the beginning, is all the sequence. So now we should have a sequence that goes all the way around and back again. So the sequence are being removed and then they're being added back again. So it is possible to create sequences that go from one state to another and then back to the original state. when you're doing that, there's something to be aware of here. I'm just going to delete those last 2 frames. Let's go back to the 2 frames that we need to duplicate. And if this were 15 frames, we're going to be in trouble when we need to reverse them, because you do have to reverse them. So what I'm going to do is click New here. I'm going to move them to the end. And then with them selected, I'm going to click here on Reverse Frames, and that's going to reverse the order of these 2 frames. So provided you do that in sequence and you think about what you're doing, you're going to make a duplicate of everything between the beginning and the end. You're going to move them to the very end, and then you're going to click here and just reverse the frames, and that should give you the animation that you're looking for, however long that happened to be. So let's click play. And that's working perfectly. And so we would send that back out as well as an animated sequence. I hope that you've enjoyed learning this technique for creating animated GIFs in Photoshop. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, I'm Helen Bradley for Design Cuts.